Among the many reflections that can help curb vanity, consider this. You may desire admiration for living a virtuous, philosophical life, but if you examine your past, you'll find instances where you've fallen short of that ideal. Both others and yourself are aware of times when your actions were not aligned with true Stoic values. Recovering the reputation of a philosopher is not an easy path. So, rather than worrying about how others view you, aim instead to live in alignment with your true nature for however much life remains. Reflect upon what your nature truly requires of you, and don't let distractions sway you. You've already learned that lasting happiness cannot be found in wealth, honor, prestige, or fleeting pleasures. Where is it then? It lies in actions that reflect what is genuinely good for a human being. This goodness is defined by virtues: justice, courage, moderation, and integrity, while harm lies only in actions that cause a lapse in these virtues. Before you undertake any action, pause to ask yourself, will this bring me peace or regret? Remember, soon you will be gone, and the judgments of others will fade. All that truly matters is whether each action aligns with reason, serves the common good, and respects the universal principles that govern all existence, the same principles that guide the divine. Reflect on the lives of rulers like Alexander the Great, Caesar, and Pompey. Despite their power, they did not reach the insights of philosophers like Diogenes, Heraclitus, and Socrates, who sought to understand the nature of all things. The philosophers understood deeper truths, whereas the conquerors were limited by the very desires that drove their conquests. Such rulers were bound by their errors and desires, not truly free. People will do what they do, whether you intervene or not. Let this bring you peace. The events, both good and bad, are part of the universal order, which is beyond our control. Soon, no one will remember the achievements or failures of those who came before, just as few remember even the most notable figures from ages past. Instead of being consumed by how things might turn out, focus on the task at hand, maintaining integrity and expressing truth kindly and sincerely. Let this be your guiding principle. The nature of the universe is in perpetual motion, constantly shifting and reorganizing. Change is not an anomaly, but a necessity. Just as elements move from one form to another, every aspect of life is part of this endless transformation. There is no need to fear what is ordinary, for all things return to the whole, following the natural course. Each part of nature flourishes when it fulfills its purpose. A rational being thrives when it refrains from false beliefs, prioritizes the common good in every action, and accepts its circumstances. Just as the leaf is part of the larger ecosystem, we, as rational beings, are part of a greater, interconnected whole. Unlike the leaf, however, we have a unique capacity for reason, which allows us to act in harmony with justice, distributing all aspects of life equitably as nature intended. If you find yourself without time to read or study, focus instead on putting wisdom into practice. You don't need additional resources to avoid wrongdoing, to transcend bodily pleasures and pains, or to resist the pursuit of reputation. You have within you the power to remain kind to others, even when they show ingratitude or misunderstanding. Cultivate compassion without seeking praise for your efforts. Cease complaining about the pressures of public life, whether in front of others or within your own mind. Complaints only foster resentment. Focus instead on how you can bring virtue into every interaction. Repentance is a self-corrective practice, a recognition of past mistakes. A wise person regrets not the absence of fleeting pleasures, but any lapse in virtue. Carnal pleasures, while momentarily satisfying, bring no lasting benefit. If you have strayed from integrity, let that be the source of repentance, not the loss of sensory indulgence. When anything in life confronts you, ask, what is this in its essence? Break it down into its components and see it plainly. Examine its substance, its purpose, and its effect. By analyzing things in this way, you strip away illusions and discover what is truly important. When you struggle to rise each morning, remember that human nature is best expressed in actions that serve the greater good. While rest is necessary, the work of contributing to society and fulfilling your purpose is a uniquely human endeavor. To remain idle is common to all creatures, but to act for the collective good is distinctive to human nature. Each idea and perception that enters your mind is an opportunity to seek clarity. See things as they are, devoid of embellishments, and approach them with a reasoned mind. When meeting others, remind yourself to consider their values. If they hold misguided beliefs about pleasure, honor, or status, it is no wonder they behave in particular ways. Just as it is natural for a fig tree to bear figs, it is natural for people to act in accordance with their beliefs. Remember, just as a pilot expects the wind to shift, you should expect human beings to act according to their understanding. Changing your opinion when corrected is as honorable as discovering the truth independently. As long as your decisions are based on reason and deliberation, changing course in the face of better knowledge is not a flaw, but a strength. If something is within your control, act accordingly. If it's not, there's no benefit in blaming external forces, whether you call them fate, chance, or divine will. If you can correct the situation, do so. If you cannot, let go of the need to control it. Accept that not everything can be changed. All things eventually return to the whole, where they dissolve into their natural elements. The earth, air, water, and fire that make up our bodies and world are in constant transformation. When change comes to us, accept it as you would the changing seasons. Just as each thing in nature has its purpose, a vine to produce fruit, a horse to run, so too do we have a purpose. But it is not merely to seek pleasure or delight. Consider that even the sun and stars fulfill their purpose without selfish motives. Recognize that the end of any process is as natural as its beginning. Completion is as integral to nature as birth and growth. Life is like a ball in motion. It has neither better nor worse for being up or down, still or moving. So too, our fame and even our existence are temporary. The body, subject to decay, is of little consequence. Fame is fleeting, sustained by only a handful of people in a small fraction of the world. In time, we and those who remember us will return to dust. Every situation you encounter contains elements of matter, thought, purpose, and meaning. Consider these dimensions and respond with intention and clarity. When life's events challenge you, remember that each is an opportunity for growth. If you feel inclined to wait until tomorrow to improve yourself, question why today is not suitable. Let every action aim to bring goodness to others. If hardship arises, accept it as a gift from the same universal source from which all blessings flow. Embrace both with a sense of purpose. Reflect on everyday routines like bathing in their most basic components. The oils, the dirt, the sweat. All are part of bodily existence. Much of life, when stripped to its essence, is mundane and even unpleasant. Recognize this and accept it as part of human experience. Consider the transient nature of life. Lucilla buried Verus, and then Lucilla herself was buried. The cycle continues with countless names, some quickly forgotten, others fading into legend. No matter how grand or humble one's life, all are subject to the same end. True happiness comes from fulfilling the roles unique to humanity, to act with kindness, resist base desires, and discern the essence of each moment. This understanding involves contemplating the nature of the universe, the workings of the divine, and how we relate to those around us. To live fully, embrace the interconnectedness of all things, and consider how each experience may serve others. The reflections above offer guidance toward a life anchored in Stoic principles. The world is full of distractions that pull us away from what truly matters. The opinions of others, fleeting pleasures, and endless pursuits of status offer only temporary satisfaction, often at the cost of inner peace. But Stoicism reminds us that true contentment is found by aligning our actions with virtues like justice, courage, and wisdom. Each day, remember that the only control you possess lies within your thoughts, actions, and responses. External events, the judgments of others, and material gains or losses are not inherently good or evil. They are neutral. What gives them meaning is how we interpret and react to them. By focusing on what is within our control, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and cultivate an enduring sense of peace. Ultimately, the Stoic path is about transformation. It calls us to shift from seeking validation externally to finding worth within. It urges us to replace fleeting pleasures with a commitment to virtue and to see life's challenges as opportunities for growth. In doing so, we live not only a more fulfilling life, but one that contributes positively to the world around us. Embrace this path, for it leads not to fame or riches, but to a more profound happiness that no one can take away.